Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with a dope set of nails. So just to clarify, I did not use real marijuana. I did use oregano because the smell of the marijuana makes me sick to my stomach. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just removing her gel polish and her bling, and that old set that she has is with the Jovamia gel polishes. So as you can see, they still look really good. The Jovamia polishes stayed on super good. They're still really shiny. So just a reminder, I do still have the promo code and you get 10% off. So I'll leave that link in the description, and that is for Jovamia. Alrighty, so once again, I'm removing the gel polish from her acrylic nails, and now I'm using a medium drill bit. And remember, whenever you're removing the gel from acrylic nails, you want to make sure that you use a drill bit that's coarse enough, and that's going to remove that gel polish easily, because you can use a fine drill bit, but it will take a little bit longer and it's going to be a little bit harder because it's too fine. So once again, I'm using a medium drill bit. And also, whenever you're removing gel polish from the acrylic nails, this is the only way to take it off. If you were to soak it off, it will soak off her acrylic nails as well. Now, if you were removing gel polish from her natural nails, then you would soak it off, of course, but for acrylics, you do have to file it off. Okay, so now I'm going in with my Stick and Peel stick by Tammy Taylor, and this is a little edger, and I'm just using that to push back your cuticles. So once again, this is the Stick and Peel by Tammy Taylor, and what this is, it's basically a white stick, and then you take off the little back piece to like a little sticker, and then on the other side it's like a file kind of. So you just use that to push back the cuticles. And then after this, I'm going to go in with my 180 sanding band to remove the shine from the natural nail. So remember, whenever you're doing nails, you want to make sure that you get that shine off the natural nail really good. Make sure that you push back the cuticles so you can get closer to that nail. and just remove that shine really good, because a lot of your lifting will come from not doing this properly. Make sure you get over on the sides, turn their finger to where you can see every angle of their nail. That way, if you're missing a little spot that's still shiny, just go back and remove the shine from the natural nail, because once again, this does have a lot to do with lifting. So after this, I am going to go back and thin out some of her nails, only because she's had this set on for a long time and it's not just really thick. But since I'm going to be doing the oregano in the nail as well as some lace, and I'm going to encapsulate both of them, I don't want the nail to be really thick. So that's why I'm only going back and filing the nails that I'm going to be encapsulating. Once again, I'm doing this because I don't want the nail to be really thick afterwards. So I'm just going to thin them out a little bit, and then we're going to start. Alrighty, so I dust all her nails off. Now I'm going back in with a primer. So I'm using my OPI Bondex, and like I've said before, the only reason why I use my OPI Bondex is because I have a ton of it. But whatever primer you have is good, or if you have a primer that goes with your acrylic, then that's perfect. But I only use my OPI primer because I have a lot of it. So now we're going in with some lace, and I got this lace from Walmart, like in a fabric part. It comes like in a little ball. And it's, once again, it's in their fabric or their arts and crafts department. So I measured the nail, I cut out the little lace. Now I'm going to lay down a thin layer of acrylic, and after I do that, I'm going to brush it down towards the bottom of the nail, just to make sure that the acrylic is covering the whole nail. Once again, we're just doing a thin coat, and then we're going to place that lace over the nail and just pat it down to make sure that it's on the nail. And it is going to be a little bit hard. You might have to apply a little bit more acrylic to make sure that the lace is on there really good. As you can see, it wasn't working for me, so I am going to go back and apply some more acrylic on the nail. And then I'm going to place the lace over it and just pat it down really good. And then I'm going to go back and encapsulate that lace. Now you will have to make sure that the lace is encapsulated in the nail really good. That way, whenever you start filing, you don't file any of the lace away. So for this, I'm using my Mia Secret acrylic system, which is my pink powder and my monomer. And for my brush, I'm using my number 9 brush. And here is where I go in and just lay the acrylic over the lace. And you want to make sure that you get the sides really good. Also, as you can see, I do have lace hanging off the nail, so you want to make sure that when you cut your lace, you cut it a little bit shorter than what the actual nail size is, or you want to cut it a little bit smaller. That's what I meant. And then lay the acrylic over it. That way it's not too hard to try to encapsulate the lace, but you can always go back and cut around the lace or just file it down, which is what I'm going to do. So remember, make sure that you do a good layer of acrylic over your lace. That way, whenever you start filing, you don't file off any of the lace. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the oregano. So I did a thin layer of acrylic, and then I'm going to go in and just lay the oregano over the wet acrylic. As you can see, I'm still applying a little bit more acrylics. That way the oregano sticks on the nail really good. And once again, this is like the imitation of the weed nail or the marijuana nail, but I hate the smell of marijuana, and whatever. So that's why I'm using oregano. So once again, we do a thin layer of acrylic, and then we pick up the oregano with my brush. And then after this, I'm going to go back in and do a thick layer of acrylic over this to encapsulate that oregano. And same thing, you want to make sure that you do a thin or a thick layer. That way, when you go back and file, you don't file any of the oregano off, or the weed or whatever. Alrighty, so for the rest of the nails, we're just going to do a regular fill-in. So we do a bead closer to the cuticle area, pat it down, and then brush it down towards the tip. And remember, you want to make sure you go back and clean around that cuticle area really good. You don't want any of that acrylic on the actual cuticle because that will cause lifting. And just remember to look at your nail from different angles. If you have a little dip in it, just go back and fill in the little dip. And remember to work smarter and not harder, so don't work with a lot of acrylic. You want to be able to work with whatever you can control. If you get a big bead and it starts running all over the cuticle area and all over the place, then you need to work with less product. So once again, I'm using my Mia Secret acrylic system and my alpha brush, and I do have a promo code for my alpha brushes, so I'll leave that in the description as well. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go in and reshape this nail. I just want to make sure that the lace is inside the nail really good and make sure I don't have to go back and add more acrylic to it. So it is going to be good. I'm not going to have to go back and add more acrylic because it was encapsulated in the nail really good. It wasn't sticking out. So as you can see, I'm just filing away any of that extra little lace that was hanging out of the nail. So same thing for the other hand, except for this time we're going to do just the tip with the lace. So I'm going to measure it and then I'm going to lay down or cut it out and then lay it on the nail. And this time I tried using glue. I thought it would help, but I still ended up having to use a little bit of acrylic. Once again, we're just going to lay that acrylic over the lace. Make sure you press down on that lace so it stay down, and then just encapsulate that lace into the nail. And you can see that my lace is hanging off the nail, but once again, we're just going to go back and file that off, so don't worry about it. And we're going to do the same thing with the marijuana nail, and then the rest would just be a regular feel. Alrighty, so now we're going to go in and reshape the nails. So she already has that coffin shape, so we're just going to go back and redefine it. So remember, whenever you're starting to do nails, you want to make sure that you perfect your shape. A shape can do a lot for your nails, no matter if you don't get lifting, if you don't have any bumps or lumps on your nails. If you don't have a good shape, it will take away from your nail. A lot of the time people compliment my nails only because I have a really good shape. So you want to make sure that you work on your shaping really good. Remember, when you're using or when you're filing the nail, you want to make sure that you use a file that's pretty coarse. That way it's easier for you to actually take away some of the width or whatever. So I use a 100 hand file, and I'm just redefining that shape once again. And remember, when you're shaping the nail, like at the beginning, say you just glue down their tips, if you're doing a coffin shape, you could always cut down the size to save you some time. So that comes in when we say work smarter and not harder. You want to save yourself as much time as you can. So now I'm going to go in with my fine drill bit, and remember, I'm always focused on the cuticle area. You want to make sure that you seal that area really good. That way you don't get any lifting. And if you are a beginner and you do have a lot of bumps and lumps, you want to make sure that you file the rest of the nail as well. That's why I only focus on that cuticle area, because I don't ever really just have a lot of bumps or lumps. So that's why I always focus on that cuticle area. And no matter how good you are, I feel like you always have to focus on that cuticle area, because any little gap that's back there will cause lifting. Any moisture that gets under there will cause the nail to lift, or it could even cause you a little greeny. So make sure you seal those cuticle areas really good. And this lace nail actually looked really good. Like that went perfect on, or perfectly on the nail. So once again, I'm using a fine drill bit to file the nail, and then after this we're going to buff the nails. Alrighty, so now I'm just buffing the nails, and what this do is basically just take out any of the little scratches that are on the nail left from the files. So you want to make sure that you go in and buff any of those scratches out, because if you just do a polish over it, you will be able to see those scratches. So make sure that you buff the nail really good to where it's nice and smooth. And remember, like you see, I always rub my finger over the nail, so if you have to do that, then that's fine. That's just me checking to make sure that the nail is nice and smooth, and if it is, then I just move over to the other hand. So after this, I'm just going to dust them off, and then I'm going to wipe them off with an alcohol wipe. And I know somebody asked me, did the alcohol wipes do anything to the acrylic? No, it does not do anything to the acrylic. It doesn't affect it in any type of way. So I just go in and wipe off the acrylic with an alcohol wipe, and that's just to remove any of that extra little dust that's left. So after this, I'm going to go in with my glue, my foil glue, and I'm doing that on the pinky, and then I'm going to do that on her other hand as well. And then I'm going in with this black gel polish by Jovamia in the color black, and this is from their Instant collection. And once again, I do have a promo code to their website, so I'll leave that in the description. Sugar. Alrighty, so same thing for the other hand, except for on this hand I'm going to be doing the foil glue on the middle finger. And remember, this foil glue, you apply it, and then when it turns clear, that's when you know that it's dry. And then for the other hands, once again, I'm using my black by Jovamia in their Instant collection. And this is the collection that comes with the regular polish and the gel polish. So make sure you go check them out. Once again, I do have a promo code, so I'll leave that in the description. Alrighty, now I'm going to apply the foil. So all you do is basically just dab it on the nail. As you can see, it goes right on. Remember, you want to make sure that you apply the foil until the glue is at a clear finish. That way you know that it's clear. But other than that, you just dab it on the nail, and then you just keep dabbing it until you get that coverage that you want. Alrighty, so now I'm just going to go in with my Mia Secret Gel Resin to apply some bling, and then I'm also using some little gold pieces. So once again, I'm using my Mia Secret Gel Resin. I'm going to be using those gold pieces, my SS6 and my SS12 rhinestones. And then I'm using my wax pencil, and I'm also going to be using my Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator. And that's the spray that dries the glue really fast. So if you've ever used the Mia Secret Gel Resin, you know that it takes it a little bit longer to dry. So if you get the Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator and spray it on the nail where the glue is, it will dry the glue instantly, so you won't have no problem with it drying. So we're going to also apply some bling on the thumb. So once again, I'm using my Mia Secret Gel Resin, my SS6, my SS12, some gold pieces, and my wax pencil, and my Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator. And you can find that on eBay. I believe it's like, they have one that's like $12 for the Mia Secret Gel Resin and the Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator. So you can buy them separately or together. And once again, those are on eBay, so I'll leave the link in the description. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna go in with my top coat. So for that, I'm using my Yova Mia gel top coat, and y'all, this top coat is so good. Like, it's so shiny. And then I know some top coats are really thick, and this one is like really thin and it's so shiny. So once again, this is a Yova Mia gel top coat, and we're gonna cure this one for 60 seconds. And I am doing 2 coats just because I always like to do 2 coats on the foil nails, and then I just wanted them, I don't know, to have, I don't know, I just did 2 coats, but I always only do 1 unless I do it on the foil. But this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at GetNailed32, and I'll see you guys in my next video.